She's at a place in her life where peace is a priority and negativity cannot exist. She's no longer matching energy. She's simply removing herself from any situation that doesn't vibrate her soul. So if you start moving funny, she's moving on.
What's up, my Fina love, sisters? Fina D coming to you all from Fina Team and News.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment.
I mean, I just had to take a second and get into this body, yaddy, 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 and her skin. Stunning, stunning, stunning. Miserable Marlo, the Candy Birds, you are only known in Atlanta. Candy response is on the screen. There's certain words we can't say. And then Kenya Moore goes in confessionals and basically say the only reason why Marlo is known around the world is because she's sprinkling baby powder on the older men. That, oh my gosh, and then someone went on Twitter and added a visual to it.
Damn. I'm sorry.
When I tell you, I'm so done with Twitter. Oh my goodness. But you know what? I promise to do things in order. So let me go from the beginning. I will get to that part at the end because all of it happened at the end. And I will also be back with a separate video that's dedicated to social media reaction only because they had me on the floor last night. My side hurts. I know that some of you want me to get straight to what happened in Jamaica at that dinner table, but I did promise all of you last night when I posted my partial review on the whole Kenya Moore and bringing a +1 situation. If you missed that video, please click the very first link in the description below to watch that video. In that video, I did say I was going to come back and do a full breakdown of the episode from the beginning to the end. Jamaica happened at the end, so you would get that at the end. That doesn't mean you fast forward through my review, okay? Just listen. Anyways, thank you all for the love and support. Let's get into it, starting from the beginning. Todd, talking about he's old and he doesn't drink anymore. Kudos to you. It doesn't mean he's quitting drinking 100%. He needs to detox his body. So I'm all here for being healthy. Sheree saying that she wants models with titties. I can never say those words naturally anymore. Since that episode of Kenya, Phaedra, and them screaming about Cynthia Bailey boobs in the doctor's office, okay? Basically saying that some of the She by Sheree outfits, they can't wear bra with it, so they need some, We're still waiting, girl. We're still waiting. Kenya packing, to go to Jamaica. And she's saying, give Sonia a run for her money, basically joking. And then Drew calls her and they're talking about Sonia not being able to throw a party. Fun shade, having a great conversation, talking about Sonia rules. And I love when Kenya made a point about she doesn't need a +1. I'm not going to talk about that part in here. That's why I did an entire video on it. So once again, click the very first link in the description below to hear about everything I had to say in that video about the +1. Just know that it's one of those more than enough messages about women not needing a man to exactly. So go to that video and hear all about it. Kenya asking Drew about she and Sonia friendship, and Drew saying, you know what? I was never the problem. We know the history, so let's just move on, okay? Sonia talking to her husband, about there will be no drama in Jamaica. Everyone should just be easy and relax. And then she was like, I hope some of these women basically smoke weed, okay? You just made the announcement that it's not legal in Jamaica just because, people here in Jamaica and they make assumptions. It's not legal, but you're encouraging them to do it Anyways, don't get in trouble, ladies. Don't get locked up over there. But anyways, let's move forward. The house is filled with her family, child. They're working out. Cute moment. Let's move on. Ralph putting the air on because he doesn't want Drew weave to get lifted. I'm like, this bear right here. They're talking about his favorite weave. He likes Sasha because the Sasha wig looks more exotic. I'm like, Ralph. Of course, he had people like, oh, Drew, be careful, girl. He might be calling you his little girlfriend in Tampa name. I'm like, yeah, y'all go. Yeah, y'all go. And of course, the same book conversation. I don't blame Drew. You want me to write a forward about a book that I'm not 100% sure about because you are being so secretive about everything. Of course, I understand Ralph's creative process. He wanted to write freely, and he knew that including his wife, there were probably going to be moments where she was going to be like, okay, I don't like that line. I don't like that part. Say it this way. Write it this way. Do it this way. And he just wanted to have something for himself. But then he also have to understand why she wants to know more than what he's giving her, because I'm not about to write a forward for a book that I don't have any details about. So I understand their situation. Also, him bringing the publisher for Drew to meet the publisher based on, other situations that happened in the past. I get it. And I love the suggestions she made about him, talking about the book in Jamaica. And we already know how that went. Let's stay focused and we're going to get there. I mean, who's surprised that Marlo did not bring a man? Come on now. Of course, she's not going to ever show her sponsors because most of them are married. Allegedly. And whatever Candy's saying, confessionals, she was 100% right. Like I said, Marlo is always projecting. It's always the ones who don't have what you have, that have the most to say about your life. They arrive in Jamaica. Then Sonia goes in confessionals, talking about Kenya never having a +1. First you're sick, and I'm just like, girl. It's just so disgusting at this point. Let me stay focused and not go there with Sonia because she's such a hypocrite, okay? And this is the nice nasty I'm talking about. One moment, you're dissing Kenya in confessionals, and then the next moment, oh, I told the hotel to put rose petals, in her room because her birthday is coming up. Of course, I posted this moment already. If you click the very first link in the description below, you can watch it. I've been talking about it since I started this video. But I had to bring it back because Sonia's husband is messy just like her. So they pull up and Marla goes to him and she's like, she approached him, and Sonia's husband goes, yeah, she approached him. Joking or not, you were right there and you saw what your wife did. So why lie like that? Okay, so moving on, they get inside. Candy, she doesn't play about her food, okay? She was hungry, finally she got to eat. Sonia talking about your room's choices are based on how you've treated me. Candy is like, well, Drew, I guess you're in the closet. Anyways, that happens. Drew gets the dinner first with her husband. Sonia is there. They have a little kiki moment, dancing, whatever, cute. Drew tell her thank you for the room. Everything is cool. Everyone starts coming to the table. Of course, we already know what happened with Kenya. Date. Let's move on. If Sonia's husband is coming for a woman on the next episode, you see how Todd handled Marlo? That's when you get involved. When the person keeps insulting you as if you're not sitting right there to defend yourself. When they keep telling lies on you and you have absolutely no other options but to speak and defend yourself. And then you stay seated and you have a conversation. That's what happened. There was no let me stand up to intimidate a woman. There was none of that. There was none of that. He sat there because he knew his wife could handle Marlo and she did not need backup. He only spoke when Marlo kept lying on him and dragging his name in their situation. Now let's get into what started the whole argument. And this is where and when I'm like, you know what? If YouTube wasn't so sensitive, because I was like, is it that? Because you really have to be on something to be this delusional and to be this dumb. And I'm talking about Marlo. So everyone starts asking questions. Sheree starts asking Ralph about his book and all of that. And then Marlo decided to join the conversation. And once again, I'm a foster kid. I'm a foster kid. I'm a foster kid. I get it. Talk about your experience. But she starts going in on Ralph. Ralph is putting himself in that man's shoes. Even though he's been there for a long time and he's been the father figure, and Drew's son's father got in trouble, went to prison, did his time, and he's doing his best to step up and be an amazing father. Ralph is just thinking to himself, if I was alive and my wife and I were no longer together and she was to move on with somebody else, how will I feel if her new husband was trying to adopt my kids? That's where he's coming from. And he's like, I'm not going to do it. Now here comes Marlo, grilling the man and just doing all of these things. There's a way to have a conversation without just going overboard. And I love that Candy called her out. You just gave your nephews away. And when I said, is it? Yep, this is what I meant. You just sat there and grilled this man about his bonus son and also Drew. You brought up their child. And then you get upset and say kids are off limits because Candy brought up your nephews. There's a difference in bringing up children in a conversation in a respectful way because you need understanding. There's a difference in doing that and then insulting the kids. There's no harm in having a positive conversation. Now, when the conversation turned into something disturbing, then of course kids are off limits. But you don't get to sit at a table and ask these people about their child and then get upset because Candy is calling you out and saying, you just had your own situation. Who are you to question them? And the thing about Marlo is, if she was to stay on topic, regardless of how upset she gets, then everyone would understand, okay, she got upset, but she stayed on topic and we had a conversation. It's when she feels like she's backed up in a corner. So now I'm going to start lying. I'm going to start making things up. I'm going to start speaking gibberish because nothing makes sense. I'm going to start talking about things that have absolutely no connection to what we're talking about. Because all I know how to do is hit below the belt and be a complete fool and an idiot. That's all I know how to do. I can't stay on topic. And that's where she loses people. And I love that Candy called her out. You just kick your nephews out. You don't have no room to speak or to talk about how someone handles their parenting and all of that. And Candy was right. How can you sit there and attack this man about not wanting to adapt even though he gave a valid reason? But then Candy bringing up your nephews, oh, now it's off limits. Oh, but you can talk all day about what Ralph and Drew can do with their children. You know someone is eating you up when you start saying dumb-ish like, I won't treat my husband like that. You never had one. Now here comes Marlo taking what Mama Joy said in the heat of the moment and being upset and talking crap and being shady to now, oh yes, that's free game in the past for me to disrespect Candy and to go there. So Candy shut her down. And yes, she's getting dragged all over social media. And of course, adding to the hot mess that she was doing, having the nerve to say Candy of all people is only known in Atlanta. I already talked about that in the beginning. I wasn't mentioned Kenya response in the beginning. So yeah, and we've all seen it. So I don't have to repeat it. Marlo is crazy. And you know, Moyetta husband in the background over there laughing. But she leaned that shoulder back and then Todd, of course, saying, girl, you bought your way on this show. And then Marlo talking about I came with Phaedra. Oh girl, how many times on this show have people come on this show and say, a friend of, and then when they're no longer on the show is, I barely knew that person. We were not friends. They just used me to bring this person on because it made sense. And lastly, I'm going to need people to stop behaving like Candy did not meet Todd at work. He had a job, a producer on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, a hit show at that. Yes, Candy money is long and more than Todd. However, What restaurants did Candy have before Todd? What Broadway plays did she executive produce before Todd? Candy and the Gang? That was Todd's idea. The restaurant empire they're building? Todd's idea. He even said it. He said, I go and I pitch all of these things, but because Candy is the star, people say Candy, 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 and it forgets about me. So for people to continue to behave like this man is not pulling his weight and he's not doing his thing and he's just laying around and Candy is taking care of him, and that's the reason why your family have to be so careful how they talk about you and how they treat you in the presence of your enemies and people, because then people can use that against you and talk about you sideways. Her mom can't watch that episode and get upset at Marlo. I mean, she can, but she's repeating everything you said to Todd. So how can you really get upset when you couldn't just support your daughter and you got so mad that she finally found someone to settle down with because you did not approve? You dragged that man. Now your words are being used against her and her husband. You can't even get mad and start shading. She's using your words. She's using what you used to hurt your daughter all over again. And that's why you have to be careful what you put out there. And then Marlo thinking she's doing something by saying, oh, Todd said this about you and he said that about you. Oh, okay. So all of these years, over a decade, Todd said all of these things about me. You didn't say anything, but now it matters. Hot mess. Just saying whatever to win an argument. I talked about Kenya date leaving in that other video, but it was also funny Kenya being Candy little cheerleader in the background, like, yes, I'm worthwhile. Yeah. It was just funny. Between her and Bayetta and her husband cracking up, it was a hilarious episode. I love that Kenya called Sherry out and was like, that's your friend. Okay, that's your friend being a fool. Then Sonia, the biggest hypocrite. This woman was doing laps at Blue Ridge or whatever the cabin was when it was, let me blame Kenya for the reason why Marlo trip isn't going according to plan. But yet the woman you claim is your friend is the reason why your dinner is completely destroyed and you sat there on mute. Didn't even check your friend. Didn't say stop. Didn't say, you waited until the end and then you said, okay, both of you got to stop. Girl, so focused on Kenya, who's not even doing anything, when you should be focused on the demon that you decided to make your friend. So we shall see who your husband is talking to in the next episode. And I already know Team Twirl is sitting on ready. Okay? Anyways, if I missed anything, just let me know and I will talk about it, because I do have social media reactions coming out next, okay? But I don't think I missed anything important. I'm wishing all of you well and take care. My loves, thank you all for your love and support. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and leave this video a thumbs up. Also turn on notifications so when I do post, you're aware that I posted. And I will see you all in the comment section. Remember to always have the God bless attitude, which is being positive at all times and seeing the good in every situation. Have a great day, guys. God bless.